Hey everyone, Sean Clement here, Richmond Hill Golf Learning Center, headquarters for wisdom in golf. And today we're talking about what is it that you need to have as confirmation that you stayed with your task of swinging through to the target. Because if you don't swing through to the target, many of my students, they black out early, right? So they're saying, okay, I want to go that way. Well, I want to make sure I hit the ball. So then here you are making sure you hit the ball. You come over the top, and then you wonder what went wrong. And you're thinking about what positions you didn't hit or whatever, and your whole system goes into haywire. Versus, did I stay on target? So you notice if we had a sword in our hands, you take your sword, you grab it at the base of the shaft, give it a nice slash through that bamboo shoot, and you notice how there's the beginning of the cut, there's the end of the cut, and there's the release. So the weight of the sword releases my anatomy, and I know that I stayed with the task because I got through and I felt the weight of the sword turn my anatomy over right here. I felt that pronation and that snap. Now, many of you don't feel that because the ball really slows you down and it slows down this process. So the different things that I use to confirm that I stay with my target is, well, number one, I felt that nice speed well past the ball and to the right of my intermediate point. So I'm focusing on right edge of that intermediate point. I'm still there, I'm still there. Yes. I felt a nice speed well past that intermediate point. While I was thinking about the intermediate points, I was thinking about this spot to the right side of my intermediate point during the whole swing. So the second thing, one of the things that really hit home for several of my students this week was the finish position. And now we have even more motivation to stay with our finish. So you go back to finish position and width of stance, an oldie but goodie. What are we talking about? Well, here's a human body in balance. Everything stacks up. Head, shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles. This is the real stacking, okay? So if I lean back just a tad, whoop, now I feel like my abs and my quads are very tight. They don't want me to fall over. Notice how my anterior tibialis is trying to grab the grass with my toes. So I come back into balance. Everything's nice and relaxed again. I lose my balance forward. Now my toes are grabbing the ground and they're all cramped up, making sure I don't fall this way. Come back into balance and it's all good again. So I start in balance. I bend forward from the hips, really apply some nice suction through the arches of my feet, and I'm getting ready to swing to my target. My takeaway, I'm still in balance. I still have both suction cups to the ground. Go too far outside, whoop, I'm on my toes, no good. Go too far inside, whoop, I'm starting to fall backwards, and now I feel like, whoa, everything's starting to get tight again. That's relaxed. I go to the top of my backswing. That's still relaxed. I swing to my finish. That's still relaxed. So I feel like head, shoulders, left hip, left knee, left ankle is nicely balanced on the top of my right arch. I still have suction from this side. Still balanced, still balanced. Swing through to a nice balanced finish. Notice how everything's in nice balance on top of my front foot, which is nice and flat to the ground. If I overthrust my lower body, whoa, look at that. Now I'm really straining my ankle, my knee, my front hip, and I'm straining my lower back. So now do that for several years or a few decades, and you'll need a hip replacement and maybe some back surgery. But if you stay in balance throughout the whole process, everything's good, no strain. Everything's good, no strain. So I don't need those stabilizer muscles to take care of a joint that's out of stack. To my finish, we're good. So now I'm going to go through my dandelion stem all the way into my finish, and I won't stop until I get to the finish. Now here's the cool part. That's my task. I'm going to go through into my finish, hold my finish, and now I'm going to just simply predict what's going to be in the way of that. So I want full release out there into my finish, of course. Peak speed is way out here, not at the bottom. That is not my target. If I had a sword in my hands, there's the beginning of the cut, there's the end of the cut, there's the release of my anatomy. If I'm throwing the club to my target, there, that's where peak speed would be. It's the same in golf. We're going over there, we're not going over here. So I'm going to go through that dandelion stem into my finish and hold my finish, and I'm going to confirm that I swung all the way to that finish. So gather, through and hold my finish. Got it. Yes, I stayed until I went to my finish. That was my task. And then lo and behold, hey, I caught that a little thin. That's it. Don't worry about it. Was my task? Yep. I feel low enough that I can cut the dandelion stem all the way to my finish. All right. I'm through the stem that way, through the stem that way into my finish. Yes, I made it to my finish. Hey, sculled it. Well, you know that next swing is always going to be slightly different. So, I'm down here, going to my finish, going to my finish. Wow, that was a little bit better. Still a little bit thin. So now I'm starting to get a pattern here. Just a little lower. I'm going to my finish, going to my finish. Got it. Solid, right on the screws. So now I know how low I need to be to get through to my finish and hold my finish. Oh, there it is. Another flush shot. So I just needed to get a little lower is all. And that's the key. What happens is if you keep going through and into your finish, and that's your task, your brain will figure out how to put the ball in the way. You see what I'm saying? So if you go, well, I went to my finish and I topped it. Why did I top it? Well, let me put your swing on video. And oh my goodness, you raised in the backswing, or you swayed in the backswing and you topped it, or you came up, or whatever combination you want. What was the original focus? Well, I was going that way. Cool. So guess what? As you continue staying on your task of going to your finish, you're going to get better at it. So then I'm going to go to that finish with ease and velocity. So gathering, going to the finish, going to the finish. Oh my goodness. That was so pure and so flush and so effortless. Did you see that? So I get better at performing my task. That's how you get good at something. You stay on that same task. But if you keep distracting yourself from, hey, what about that elbow? What about this? What about that? Well, then you are no longer on that task. You are on the task of placing the elbow downwards, or bending it, or hinging, or making sure your wrist is flat, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so your anatomy is a beautiful gift. Stop looking at that gift horse in the mouth. Put it to a task. All right. Well, I'm going to cut through the dandelion stem into that finish and hold the finish. Cool. I'm going to do a fade. Okay, so I'm going to go left edge of that. And I'm going to swing through the dandelion stem into that finish. I'm going, okay, so if I'm going through the dandelion stem into that finish from here, yeah, that kind of feels a little bit different. You notice if I look at my draw, going to my finish, going to my finish. Wow, so my draw feels a little higher, and my fade feels a little bit more to the side of my body. Well, that makes sense. I'm going through the stem into my finish from here. That feels just a little bit more to the side of my head. Well, there you go. Now you just figured out the difference between the feel of a fade and a draw all the way into that finish position. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed that. I know it's going to help you. It helps so many of my students in this last month, and that's why I'm doing this video for you. Enjoy.